Now at 6, this is Fox 61, Connecticut's news station.
It's hard for me to understand a world where so many people claim to be believers or hold some kind of evident truth and belonging to a faith that is so hateful to their fellow human person.
Tonight we're continuing our coverage of recent ICE operations all around Connecticut. Good evening and thanks for joining us for the Fox 61 News at 6. I'm Brent Harden. Right now a new investigation is being launched into ICE's actions that State Senator Richard Blumenthal calls abusive and unlawful. He was joined today by State Representative Corey Paris, who received death threats last week following a post he made on social media warning constituents about the presence of ICE agents in their community. Fox 61's Solene Arif has details on the investigation.
State Representative Corey Paris spoke outside this federal building in Hartford where ICE has offices. He said ICE completely disrupted his sense of safety last week. He said his experience is just a small glimpse of what undocumented immigrants face every day in Connecticut. Last week, everything about Representative Paris's life was disrupted, from his job to a daily walk outside. He says everything felt more dangerous. Paris says he received threats targeting him and his family after this social media post that ICE shared about Paris, implying he was interfering with ICE operations.
Concern and rage that I think we have felt as a family.
This week, he's standing next to Senator Richard Blumenthal in support of an investigation into ICE's actions, not only towards him on social media, but towards immigrants they say aren't being given their due process.
Abusive tactics, excessive use of force, detention of U.S. citizens, and possible harm to individuals who are taken into custody and thrown into unmarked vans.
In a letter sent to the acting director of ICE, Blumenthal is digging into how ICE handles arrests, their use of force, and how people get treated after they're arrested.
What my family and I have certainly gone through it pales in comparison to what so many immigrant families are going through across our state and across our country.
Paris says as long as ICE continues spreading fear across Connecticut, more people won't be able to live their normal lives.
They're not seeking local resources from food pantries. They're not sending their kids to school. Many of them are facing ailments and not going to the hospital in fear of being turned away and or reported.
That was echoed by Tabitha Sukido, who leads Connecticut Students for a Dream, an organization for undocumented youth.
And folks are looking for alternatives like online schooling because they frankly do not feel safe walking into a building. And it's a real problem to create a sect of second-class people when everybody ought to have the right to go to school.
Blumenthal said the length of the investigation will depend in part on how much ICE cooperates. In Hartford, Solene Arif, Fox 61.
All right, turning now to breaking news in Waterford, where police say a body was found in the Long Island Sound this afternoon. Officials say the body was recovered off the coastline around 1. Investigators are working to identify the body now, and medical examiners are looking into what caused the death. Police say they will update us once they learn more. Fire crews knocked down a fast-moving garage fire in East Putnam last night. It started just before 8:30 on Providence Pike. Firefighters found heavy smoke pouring from a 2-story garage attached to a home. Everyone inside the home got out safely, and crews had the fire under control within minutes. The garage is badly damaged, and smoke spread into the house. No one was hurt, and investigators are still working to find the cause. Well, dozens of people are locked up tonight on charges related to a number of violent crimes across the state. The FBI says the arrests were part of a summertime operation called No Escape. Fox 61's Jamel Johnson is in New Haven with details about the sting.
Operation No Escape started as a way to help keep Connecticut streets safer. It started just 3 weeks ago, and agents tell us the number of arrests made during that time represent a committed effort to stopping violent crime.
Our collective efforts resulted in 84 total fugitive apprehensions across 7 states and Puerto Rico.
FBI Special Agent in Charge P.J. O'Brien says the suspects were wanted for sexual assaults, drug trafficking, and gun crimes. Once the criminals were arrested, they were turned over to the departments where the warrant was written.
We did a lot of the targeting work, put that back to the local departments, and it's the members of service from all the departments represented here that saw this through the finish line and actually did the apprehensions.
The State Department of Emergency Services and Public Protection helped with the sting. Commissioner Ron L. Higgins says efforts like this have contributed to a sharp decrease in violent crime numbers in 2025.
Our latest numbers from DESP's quarterly crime in Connecticut report show a nearly 10% decrease in crimes against persons in the first quarter of 2025 as compared to the same time in 2024. The numbers of crimes for the first quarter of 2025 are the lowest we've seen since 2021.
Despite this, O'Brien says there was an increase in certain crimes, and these are areas his team will focus on going forward.
We've seen surges in crimes against children. We've seen surges in gang activity. I do anticipate additional initiatives like this occurring going forward across all of those violent crime activities.
One of those efforts include a top 10 most wanted list for the state, similar to the FBI's national list. The FBI says it will provide reward money for tips that lead to arrest.
Based upon the cooperation that we've seen and the success that we've had here, we would like to continue operating in the fugitive space, getting input from our partners to identify the 10 most egregious and keep targeting them on a regular basis.
Higgins says these efforts send a clear message to criminals, victims, and their families.
We will find you, we will take you into custody, we will turn you over to the state's attorneys for prosecution, and you will be held accountable. Our message to victims is that you matter, and we will continue to tirelessly work to make all of Connecticut a safer place to live in.
While Operation No Escape has concluded, O'Brien says the agency has 2 more outstanding warrants, and they expect those additional arrests to happen soon. The state's top 10 most wanted fugitive list is expected to roll out later this fall. In New Haven, Jamel Johnson, Fox 61.
We have an update now from Hartford Superior Court. Tonight, the man accused of hitting and killing a construction worker in June of last year pleaded guilty to a manslaughter charge and has been released from custody. Officials say Tommy Nguyen hit Jose Diaz Nieves on West Boulevard in Hartford. They say he was speeding through a work zone. Court documents show he pleaded guilty to manslaughter, but not guilty to a slew of other charges, including risk of injury to a minor. Now, Nguyen says he had a seizure, and that's what caused the crash. He's due back in court on October 20th. Well, the second person has died after they were shot yesterday afternoon in New Haven. The shooting happened just after 2 on Dickerman Street. Police say the victims were together when they were shot. They have not been identified publicly yet. Investigators are gathering witness statements and video evidence. Our crew is in New Haven right now talking with police to give us an update later tonight. In Wallingford, police and the FBI arrested a man yesterday they say had child sex abuse material. 47-year-old Charles Giordano faces several charges tonight. Investigators tell us he exchanged inappropriate messages with someone underage. They've been investigating him since April of last year. Officers put him in handcuffs outside his home yesterday. Giordano is behind bars and expected to appear in court early next month. Another Connecticut leader is throwing her hat into the congressional ring, so to speak. State Representative Jillian Gilchrist launched her campaign for Connecticut's 1st District. The Democrat announced her candidacy in an Instagram video this morning. The announcement now sets up a primary challenge against longtime Congressman John Larson, who has held the seat since 1999. And Gilchrist, in fact, joins a growing field that includes former Hartford Mayor Luke Bronin, attorney Ruth Fortune, and Southington Councilor Jack Perry. Gilchrist has served 4 terms in the legislature and currently co-chairs the Human Services Committee. A Democratic primary could be held next summer. The new Here at 6 funeral plans have been released for the firefighter who died after a crash on I-95 in Guilford last week. Firefighter Michael Terrio's wake is Thursday at Swan Funeral Home in Madison from 4 to 8 p.m. His funeral will take place Friday at St. Margaret Church, also in Madison, at 10 a.m. A funeral procession will follow after the service. Police say Terrio hit a car in front of him last Friday. Officers don't know what led up to the crash. He was taken to the hospital where he later died. The Labor Day weekend already looks like a winner, but those who watch our waters are getting ready just in case they have to make a save. For firefighters in West Hartford, that's known as Marine One training, and it's been going on all summer. They invited our cameras to join them today. Here's Fox 61's Jim Altman with the story.
It is well timed just ahead of Labor Day. The West Hartford Fire Department has taken to the water for a different type of training. In West Hartford, the calm of a town pond has been disrupted.
Low frequency, high risk is what we call it. When we get the call, you know, if we can shorten that window of response to get to the person out on the water, the better it is.
Ahead of the Labor Day weekend, firefighters here are in gear, practicing evolutions. It's what they call Marine One training.
Everybody has to know it.
John Sokolowski is a deputy chief.
So the boat that we have here is used for open water in case somebody gets jammed up out in the water. So what we'll do is we'll take all the members of the department, we run them through a classroom PowerPoint, and then we'll take them out here and we'll do the hands-on, the psychomotor skills for the hands-on training.
Basically, we were going over like just basic maneuvering of the boat on open water with a victim in the water that we had to get out.
They always take to the water in teams. And for the department, the training is well timed.
Labor Day is this weekend, and everybody likes to be in and around the water for Labor Day weekend. So yeah, things can happen. I mean, you've heard it this summer. There's been several drownings across the state, so there's always opportunity for that to happen.
When the call comes in, we don't have time to, you know, go over the basics. You have to know what you're doing. They don't happen very often, but when they do happen, it's important that we get it right because the lives are involved.
And each summer, West Hartford firefighters go through this training. There are 84 that took part this year. In West Hartford, Jim Altman, Fox 61.